Hey guys, how's it going? These guys, this selection of big models here, were originally toys. Um, they're actually from the Early Learning Center. I think that's what it's called. That's what it's called in Europe anyway. And they are some kind of monsters, some kind of mythical creatures. They have loads of different ranges, but these guys really jumped out at me. I got them on eBay and they're about a tenner for the lot. So I had multiple ideas for each one. So this is the one I've started on so far. And he seemed to be they kind of have this guy especially kind of have this 80s vibe, kind of He-Man kind of look to them that I thought. So I have worked on them a little bit already. You'll see this big mace here is a bead with some just added on spikes and stuff like that, just with some wire going through it. And his big axe was a bit crazy in general in the first place. Like obviously these guys are not very realistic, scale wise. Like there's the 28 millimeter lady there. They're huge. Like this guy is going to be, I think, a big pig man. And what I did was I didn't actually do much sculpting. I did give him a pig nose, and yeah, that's about it. I gave him a little bag here because it sees a little bag in his arse and his bum. Because I just thought it was comical because this bag here is so small, like his hand wouldn't be able to even fit in it to pick something out of it to use it. So it's just, I don't know, it's so pointless. I don't know why they modeled that, but I gave him another one even smaller again. What I did as well, I just gave him a little more detail just around the eyes, and you'll notice I don't know why, I had a great idea. I don't know, we'll see if it's great. To give him some chest hair because he was so naked. He's actually so unarmored. Um, very He-Man armored. You know what I mean? I thought I'd give him some chest hair, but then I kind of went crazy with it and gave him some, chin fluff here, big hairy arms and legs and hairy back and arse crack and everything. So that will be fun just to see how it comes out in the end. That's him. I'm actually looking forward to getting him painted up and kind of working on the skin. I'm not really sure what direction to go with it, but this has been painted a little bit here. This armor detail, just with some bronze. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Like I suppose I usually get kind of bigger toys to turn into things because they're a lot easier to work with. But so he could be, I don't know, a big pig man, ogre or something like this. That's my plan for him, and he's on one of the bases. This guy is quite odd, actually, quite odd looking, big chunky guy, big chin. Seems to have some kind of like skeleton or scarring around his face and a little tiny nose. So he's going to be a big fisherman. He's got this shark. Like even this in itself is quite interesting. Like if I saw this as a toy, I'd be like, "What's his story?" He had a cleaver here, so I imagine he's some kind of butcher, I suppose, some kind of fish butcher or salesman or something like that. So there's a lot of character in him. And I was going to get rid of the shark, but I thought it was it's too interesting not to use it as a character. So the plan is to potentially, this is a pencil, right? Is potentially to wear that down into some kind of spear or trident, because it makes sense to me that maybe he's a fisherman rather than a butcher. So he and this bandana here is very piratey, I think, or at least that's what makes me think of it. And this tattoo here, so he could be a lot of fun as well. I think I might actually just repaint him all together, potentially give him big ears or go a bit mad with it. But he has a lot of character in himself. This guy then, lastly, I think he's obviously another pirate as well. You can see this cannon on his back, a lot of expression in the face. So yeah, the detail obviously isn't as good as you're going to get with an actual model. You know what I mean? But these guys are a ton cheaper, and I just like to work on them really and come up with new things. So he's got a ton of cannonballs in his bag here, which is kind of fun if you think about it. Like if as a part of a big war party, if you had an ogre that could set up a cannon and he carries his own cannonballs and shoots them, that's pretty interesting. The plan for this guy I have is basically take this cannon off, going to put a pig or a cow or maybe a horse here that is carrying over his shoulder, take his head off. Now potentially sculpt two heads, so he's going to be an Eton basically, two-headed kind of ogre giant guy from what I know, and then give him a big mace or weapon in this hand, some kind of custom made scrap mace with loads of spikes and stuff. So I will have to be taking his head off and get a cow, but the base of the cow, I think pig would be more fun actually. I'll see what I have anyway, just as a toy, and then maybe sculpt his leg so it makes sense. So that could be him, and I think it'd be characterful. I think the Ettins are meant to have two weapons, but to my brain anyway, he could just use the cow as a weapon, like just use it as a bludgeoning tool or a club. That'd be fun. Be it alive or dead, I don't know. And then a big mace or club here. So that could be fun. And then this could be just his loot. So I'm actually looking forward to getting into him as well. But this guy, first off, I said I'd record a video before I actually put some paint on his skin, because you can see his fur, right? He's very kind of Hasselhoffy or something like that, I suppose might be the term. And there's a little bit of texture in his skin there. You see the vein in his arm. So I think you'll pick up pretty good. Like, it's comical. Like, look at this armor. Like, this is just silly. But I like it. It's not very serious, It's not, if you're into really realistic kind of D&D and that kind of thing, they're obviously not great for it. But that's those guys. That's those guys. That's those guys. And I'm gonna work on this guy and put some paint on him, and then focus, will you? Put up a new video and see what he comes out like. Cheers, thanks.